Que pape, people from all places and races. Hoping here you're all doing well. We decided to make once more another storytime video. This time about a franchise with a story that we have that is honestly quite conspicuous and quite unexpected. Today I'm going to tell you the story I have with Skylanders. So, this story begins just as many other stories that talk about the history that one has with a franchise. The discovery of it. I discovered Skylanders in a very unexpected manner, and that is thanks to the M-Views. In case you don't remember, the M-Views were these special transmissions that were done by Nickelodeon in the early 2010s that made full-on reports about everything that is trending topic for the youth. That included movies, games, shows, and many more stuff. I remember I watched one in 2011 that was mainly focusing on the new releases of games for the 7th generation of consoles at the time. I mostly catched it because of Sonic Generations, a game which would become one of my favorite Sonic games ever. But in that transmission, I discovered a very particular game, and that one was Skylanders. It was something unexpected to see. I thought it was a thing that was never gonna release anytime soon, or I don't know, it was this weird thing that you could only buy online. I can't recall exactly how I felt, but I know that I was fascinated by it. It was amazing. The idea of having a figure that you can use inside a game, you put it inside the game next to the portal, it was simply amazing. Captivated by it, I wanted to give it a shot. But the thing is that I live in Bolivia. That was one major thing to consider as time went on. It was 2011, and I was expecting, I guess, any cool Christmas present, just like any kid. I remember I was looking around some toys inside one of these toy warehouses that had imported toys, and I remember seeing it right there. It was a Skylanders Spyro's Adventure starter pack for the Nintendo Wii. I saw it and I was like, wow. I was impressed. Wow. It was right there in the table. And there was other people too that were looking for this thing toy. Like, no, it was just there. And I wanted to ask how much did it cost if I could buy it. But sadly, the people who were attending us said that it didn't work. So yeah, we never got it because it never worked. It was odd, to say the least, since the package was sealed. So I don't know why do they say it didn't work. Or maybe it was already tested and they just resealed it. I don't know. But it didn't work and never got it. And a few more time passed, and I still wanted to check it out. I still wanted to try it. And I was asking my father if he could get it for me and send it over here to Bolivia, because I wasn't able to find any starter packs here. I guess they were going to take much more time, or I don't know. At the time, I wasn't really aware of terms of import and export and just how this import and export industry works here in Bolivia, since I was a kid and I wasn't going out like I do right now when I try to look for anything. So if they told me there wasn't in the main stores I used to go, and I could go with my mother, then there wasn't any, and I couldn't just go outside and look at it on my own. No. So I asked my dad if he could get it for me, and luckily he could. It wasn't Spyro's Adventure, it was Giants. Already some time has passed. But yes, it was Skylanders Giants for the Nintendo Wii. It took a long time to get here, alongside some other things. And when it got here, I was very excited because I finally had it on my hands. And thus, I opened the package, took out all the figures, put on the game, connected the portal, and it wasn't working. The game was reading, obviously. The music, the title screen was there. There was no issue there. But when I connected the portal of power through the USB port that's on the back, on both of them, none of them read. It was even connected. It had the lights on, meaning that it did detect it, but for some weird reason, it wasn't working. And well, even had to contact a tech or two in order to see how they could make it work, but there wasn't any solution. And eventually, I had to sell it. So, 2 years passed, and we were around 2015. And I decided to give it one more shot and decided to buy Skylanders Trap Team. Now, how did I get to buy it? Well, the thing is, I was over there in the United States at that time. It was 2015. So we were near the release of Skylanders Superchargers. But I decided to buy Trap Team because, it was the one that was available and it was on discount. Almost less than $30. So I decided to get it, but this time for another console that I had at the time, the PlayStation 3. The thing is, I bought it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to test it right away because I didn't have the console with me. I just brought with me what was essential and, well, I had to wait till I get back home. So, that trip I took over there was fun. I decided to explore a little bit around what it is United States, and then went back home and decided to test it on the PlayStation 3 and connect it, put on the disc, and once again it was not working. For some weird reason, it was requiring an update, thing that wasn't recommended at the time. And even with all the technicians that were involved and possible hacks and everything, it never detected anything. It was simply not reading it, and well, I never got to try it. And eventually, once again, I had to give it away to one of the gaming stores. And yes, 3 times I tried to get the starter pack to get in the Skylanders trend, and try to check it out and experience it. But unfortunately, that was the case. Now, I know you folks may be saying, why did I buy it from over there if you could have bought it from over here? Now here's the catch. Skylanders never got here. It never got here. Remember when I mentioned before that I didn't understand at the time the imports and exports of Bolivia because I was young? Well, a few years afterwards, I did eventually understand how it all worked. And even then, I never understood how it never got here. The starter packs were not being sold on any gaming store. There was at least maybe 1, maybe 2 in the entire city. There was no place that was selling the figures or any collectibles, any DLCs or cards, or any merch related with Skylanders. And that's why I never considered, and therefore never bought, any starter pack or anything related with Skylanders from Bolivia because it never got here. There was always one exception where there would be a starter pack, maybe for the Wii, maybe one plushie of Trigger Happy or Spyro, And that will be pretty much it. But yeah, Skylanders never got here. And heck, some of the figures that I managed to find were tampered. This may cause nightmares to some of the SkyTubers over there. But yes, I remember that I saw once in the Calle Comercio, they were selling some Skylanders figures, but the thing is, the base was removed and the cables were still there. They were selling them cheaper and for less than $2 as kind of collectible toys, and that's it. They basically destroyed the Skylanders. Wow. And of course, I never bought any because it made no sense to buy any of them without the figures. And that day, I was just walking by with my mother. That's what happened. As years went by, this enthusiasm that I had for Skylanders was fading away. I was focusing on other things, other franchises that gained my interest. And contrary to a lot of the quote-unquote hyperfixations I've had over the years, this one was really strange because it's one I never got to experience. I never got to connect the portal of power and put all the figures, be able to change Skylanders with my friends, or being able to go on epic Skylander hunts like all the SkyTubers did back in the day. I never had that. And it's much more difficult even now because of, well, the figures not releasing anymore as they should, as they were. So it's been almost 10 years since the last Skylanders game, Skylanders Imaginators. And I still remember very well when that was announced and had the Crash Bandicoot DLC. And I wanted to still give it a shot, but yes, that's what happened. Nowadays is a bit easier to get the figures, I guess, because in Facebook Marketplace they are selling a bunch of them, but not with a single, you could say, theme or single, you could say, proper description. They're just selling a ton of them at different prices that aren't really expensive, but yes, they're all mishmashed, as in it's a whole lot, and they're selling each one separately, and one's from Spyro's Adventure, one's from Swap Force. These two are DLCs for Giants, stuff like that. And certainly, yeah, that was just it for that was just it till the end. It would have been really nice to be able to experience this whole thing that the Skylanders fans had going on, because unfortunately I never got to experience it, I never got to live it. But despite all, I'm happy that you all got to enjoy it, and I'm happy that you all seem to remember it fondly, because I'm finding Skylanders fans fairly recently. Some of my friends are Skylanders fans, like Rabbit214 and Magician Rabbit. I do believe that even some of the Clever Boys had Skylanders figures too. It's great to know that they got to live it. I'm hoping here that the game gets released one day, because also I just want to say that the Skylanders community certainly has a lot of potential, and the SkyTubers that are from Latin America, Rocky Make, we got Rocky, we got Kai Fuyama, of course, and many others are simply very talented folks, very passionate folks that do a lot of crazy stuff related with the franchise, even though there hasn't been any updates regarding its presence in general outside of the recently announced YouTube toys. But yeah, it's kind of odd when you think about it that um, sometimes you want something as a child, you want to experience it at least even for a bit, but the universe seems to have other plans. Well, despite this very, you could say, sour ending, I'm happy that I've been able to find and learn about the Skylanders franchise these last few months, and I'm very happy to have met some of the Skytubers from Latin America. Once again, you do a fantastic job, folks, and I'm very thankful for you all to coming, for me to share this experience that is quite honestly one of the weirdest stories you may ever hear about this franchise, and maybe about any others that you have heard inside the internet. May not be a grand thing, but it is one of a kind. Anywho, thanks for everything, my friends, and we'll see you around.